What is going on, inmates? Johnny MacDizzle and Allie here.
What up?
We are back for another second chance in Turndown service.
Cleaning up.
Yep, it is the end of 2025, and I think the three words that best describe 2025, at least for me, is how long are we into the recording?
About 32 seconds.
Bleep this year. Those are my three words. Bleep this year. Yeah, a little bit of a rough one here at Team 2CI.
Yeah.
That being said, we are going to have to do this a little different.
We are. And to just build on what was just said, I have to quote comic book guy from The Simpsons and say, worst year ever.
Yeah.
But yes, explain how we're doing things differently this year.
Well, in any other circumstance, what we would be doing is taking any of the 2CI games that we gave a shot to, but maybe had no reason to finish, or maybe just kind of stopped playing without a definitive decision, and just give our final thoughts on it, decide whether or not we believe that it's worth a play, or at the very least, worth some research. But there is legitimately no game, no episode that we released in 2025 that could qualify for this. I mean, the only one on there that would have been argued was Batman, but we finished Batman and we gave our review. This was a winner. Definitely an absolute winner. I had a lot of fun. And the other games that were on there, well, I mean, we'll get into it. I mean, of course, for anybody who watches our videos on the regular, or knows us behind the scenes IRL, know that unfortunately at the beginning of the year, very unexpectedly, we lost our close personal friend and innkeeper of the show, Kenny. Kenbot, it blindsided us. It hit us out of nowhere. Nobody was expecting it. We had just come off of the heels of what I would argue was like our greatest recording session ever.
Definitely a strong contender.
Yeah, I mean we that day, like literal weeks, mere weeks before what had happened.
Exactly 1 week.
It
was exactly 1 week.
Yeah. And yeah, so like, needless to say, when those kind of things happen, you just don't know what the future is going to hold. And for us, what the future ended up holding was a lot more complications when it came to us coming back and getting restarted.
Yeah.
In my world, unfortunately, what shortly followed the passing of Kenny was that due to some budget cuts, I got let go at the job I was working at. And I had to go through a period where I was searching for a job, wondering if I was going to need to, go into a new field, anything like that, and ended up finding another job, which ultimately ended up not being a good fit either for me. And the saga would last basically throughout the year until I finally ended up at a position I'm very happy at, but not until the end of the year. So that basically, yeah, that kind of controlled my involvement and my wanting to get back to things and expand and create and just get back to having fun with you and well, just doing this thing that we put together. And yeah, that was me. But Allie, you went through some you went through some stuff too.
I did. Around obviously, this happens at the end of January. We need to take time to grieve and put ourselves back together and find what is going to be the new normal. In that time, because around this time, end of the year of 2024, Kenny and I had both talked about restarting our streaming that we had put off to get Second Chance In off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And so we said, in the new year, like, let's do it, let's like do it together. We'll bounce off each other. We'll collaborate a whole bunch. So needless to say, I kind of felt I owed it to him to get my stream back up off the ground. Any of you who are familiar with my streaming know that that didn't happen until October.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably late March when I sat down with my boss at work, said I'd like to reduce the time that I spend at the job because I have this passion that I would like to pursue. Luckily, I have a good rapport with my boss, and we were able to do that. And so I spent this new added time putting together all of the technical side, and no sooner did that happen was I thinking, okay, I think I can get back up and running. I end up in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And not only do I end up in the hospital, well, I go to get checked out, wait around for nearly 12 hours between get looked at for about 5 minutes, wait, get looked at for about 5 minutes, wait. Midnight, I specifically remember on my watch seeing 12:01. Someone comes in and says, "Hi, I'm from the surgical team." And turns out in the morning I get to have my gallbladder removed. So that became a whole recovery process, and to some degree still is an adjustment to what I can and can't eat and drink. But then I was able to start up my stream again, which
you should absolutely follow, by the way.
Yeah, Ali_Ray, REI. But that became kind of my go-to creative outlet. Hopefully not to the detriment of Second Chance In, but we are still in a bit of a rebuilding process.
Yeah, I mean the hardest part about a lot of it was that we had, in addition to, some really really awesome episodes that we recorded that one time, which y'all have gotten to see a lot of them, and we'll talk about a lot of what we've released this year. But we have been behind the scenes really feeling out things that we wanted to do. This is part of the fun of this is just trying out new things, seeing what works, and I bringing up Twitch. I had actually something that I had spearheaded and was making some really cool progress on was we were going to collaborate with a lot of friends that also have some online presence on Twitch and on social media. And we were going to do kind of a little bit of a collaborative effort where we were going to play like some Jackbox games or other, like party style games, and really kind of share our communities and our cultures and our fan bases with one another. I mean, we had, of course we have our gamers, our streamers, we have cosplayer friends, we have, a really awesome friend who does awesome like themed, jewelry and things like that you can watch. We were all coming together. We all had this really cool idea of doing it, and we were all just gonna have a chance to meet each other in the space and share our passions and our likes with each other. And like, unfortunately, like the a salvo kind of went off and kind of blew up that plan. So I think nothing that was done this year, I truly believe, was to the detriment of 2CI, because with 2CI, the only thing that we knew for certain, once we finally were in the right headspace to come together and talk about it, was neither you or I wanted to see the project disappear. We didn't want,
absolutely not.
We love doing this. I am not, nor would I ever admit to ever being an expert gamer of any kind. Nor would I say that I'm some sort of like awesome, comedian or orator or really anybody of any kind of significant talent. But, the idea of just being like an average person who likes video games and likes making jokes and just likes coming on and showing people like, hey, like these games either, let's see if they're bad or not, or maybe you've never heard of it, or let's take a break and play something fun. Either way, you get to just see in its organic moment some friends getting together, playing a video game and making jokes. And, so absolutely, we love that. We were, looking to expand, but it created a little bit of a situation where I think we just had to kind of maintain the status quo. Spoiler inside baseball, I guess, a little bit. We didn't record a lot this year.
No, unfortunately not.
We for obvious reasons, we had to kind of fall back on the backlog of things that we prepared. But at the very least, I can say that it's allowed for us to, in our day-to-day lives and in our creative endeavors, have an opportunity to reset, recycle, restore, and now will allow for us in 2026 to refocus.
Yes.
And then from there we get to do a lot of really cool and creative things. Some of which we'll share at the end of this.
Yeah. I mean, if this year has taught me anything, it is to lean in wholeheartedly to passions and interests that you have and just own them, and start streaming, making videos, whatever your thing is, just do it in the most passionate way you can.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really hoping that the coming year you really get to see the results of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's, honestly, like really, just really good advice to live by. Like, pursue your passions and don't go half-ass. Use your whole ass. Use your whole ass on this.
Both cheeks.
So why don't we kind of get into the games that aren't going to see an end. That by the way, spoilers for those of you who actually are following along on our long enduring weekend getaway series. We did finish the Hex, so you are going to see that.
Oh, I still can't get over how that ended. No spoilers, you gotta watch.
Yes, absolutely. I gotta tell you though, like it's funny, because like the the whole point of Mystery Manor is just to, like, try something new out, like, see how far it takes you. But I guess, like, what we found was kind of an unintentional side effect of it, of sometimes you're just going to come across something that is so, like, just intriguing or engaging or fun that you just have to know. And that was the thing for us. Like, it long since stopped being about, like, the clicks or the views or even the purpose of Mystery Manor, which, because at the time, like, we had pretty much figured out the basics of the game. This is going to be one of those weird mystery adventure games that's going to be simplistic in its control scheme, and by that, it's going to take you across multiple genres. But you're never using more than, like, 6 buttons at a time, and 4 of them are the D-pad.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
But
it was it did a lot with limited controls.
Yeah. But I think I'd like to start off with Shadow Generations.
Yes.
And I would like to, I don't know how many people are curious about this. I did get a couple of questions. One from my daughter and another from a buddy who follows the channel. And the question is was Kenny, or were Kenny and I, like, truly, like, mad at each other in that one episode of Shadow Generations? Kenny was mad. I would like to, here's what I would like to say. I think at some point we crossed the line, and I completely missed the signs that it was no longer a bit, that Kenny was really starting to get the frustration on. But then it was kind of one of those things where, like, my like reaction when he was like, "Where do I go?" And I was like, "Where you were!" Oh my God. It was literally because before I could even get it out, like, he just ran off. And then it became this cycle, like, thanks to the magic of the interns editing, they didn't see how long Kenny basically ran around in the same area that we had already taken care of. He wasn't listening to you, and I was just poking the bear the whole time. I mean, the thing is Kenny was already a little frustrated at Shadow, and I was just trying to go for kind of a Grump style moment.
Yep.
And I think Kenny was on board with that too, until he legitimately got lost and frustrated. And then,
I mean, even just looking at the thumbnails of our videos to remember it, I think Shadow was very much a game of highs and lows for Kenny.
Yep.
I mean, not to jump too far ahead of it, I do recall the last day we recorded it. There was a moment in that recording session where he got pretty fired up at the game, and there was some miscommunication, and wires got crossed, and emotions ran high until we said, let's end this one and play something else. So it was very much a game of highs and lows.
Yeah. And I mean, and the funny part is even after that episode, like, it, like, legitimately was forgotten about the moment, like, that the recording went off and everything.
Absolutely. And I think just by nature of I don't think it's an unpopular opinion that 3D Sonic games are a very mixed bag.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it wasn't even like it was like the game proper. Like, Kenny was having to do, like, time trials and shit like that, which is an added level of Sonic difficulty. And well, another little behind the scenes thing is that that episode, it was never intended to be used.
Yeah.
It was actually going to be scrapped because nothing was accomplished. Like legitimatately, like Kenny had to walk away from the game for a while. We had to walk away from each other for a while. But then, like, literally, like 10 minutes later, he came back and actually finished that challenge, and we left Shadow off on a good note.
Yep.
But the whole point is that at this point, my philosophy has been that we were gifted, kind of a blessed day of recording, where even in that moment we were all having a really, really, really good time, especially like overall. I basically like instructed our put upon editor that like we're going to try to use as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because the truth is that, it's what the world deserves, honestly. Like Kenny was just if anything, y'all should, anybody who enjoys listening or watching Kenny via Second Chance In or Kenbot TV, you should be jealous if you never got to meet him in real life. I'll tell you that. And so that philosophy being said, like, we're just, an episode that would have been on any other circumstance just been scrapped to the dusty corners of maybe a Patreon video down the line somewhere, became ultimately what ended up being a little bit of a, give myself a little self pat on the back, a creative way to introduce a series that we have literally had since, I think, like, literally, like, maybe the third month of our existence.
Yeah.
We have sat on those Impossible Game episodes for well over a year. There was just no organic way to introduce it. Like, we were planning on, like, I had an idea of maybe doing some skits of trying to, like, do
That's
it. Like,
right.
And actually, no. Now the memory is flooding back. What I was doing when I found out the horrible news that we had lost Kenny is I was literally prepping to take photos for my agreed upon advertisement for Trash the Tavern. Because that month we had launched our email. So the 2CI Gmail, by the way, secondchanceinat@gmail.com. Please email us your suggestions for games, either bad games that you think deserve a second chance, or games you think we've never heard of before that you think that we would have a good time. If you're an indie developer, even just making a Flash game, let us know. We'll play it. We'll give it as limited range as we have. We will give it to you. That being said, we really wanted to emphasize that. So you had done one, I think, for like Mystery Manor or Weekend Getaway. And then Kenny had done one for the other one, and it was my turn to do mine, and I was doing a narration thing where I narrated. I was going to do a narration with still frames of, like, just taking, different pictures of gestures that would explain, hey, this is Trash the Tavern. Mm-hmm. This is this series where we're going to play games that are intentionally hard and are intentionally there to frustrate the players. And yeah, it ended up, for obvious reasons, I never recorded it. And it led to us basically, even when we were back to, getting Second Chance In running again, there was just no organic way that we could truly think of, or at least that I could truly think of, to introduce Trash the Tavern and those episodes of the Impossible Game we did, until like reviewing the lineup, and it's like, wait a minute, that's the episode where we go freaking bananas on each other, right? Like, wait a minute. And so that's what I called you, and I was like, what if we asked the intern to advertise Trash the Tavern, and we turn what ended up being a literal episode where nothing happened to an episode where...
into a springboard for Trash the Tavern.
Yep. Which then made it really funny to watch as we've hit our stride a little bit when it comes to, small improvements on our editing and producing. So it's like we advertise this, and then when we release it, it's like it's such an early work of ours.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So it's like, okay,
that was the Impossible Game, which
it made you sick.
It hurt my eyes. Like it even just thinking about it, it's like, I don't even know how to describe it. Just like, it was hard to look at.
Yep. Part of me, like, okay, so I hate that game, because it's so simple.
Yeah.
But, oh man, it's so twitchy with its reaction time. But I am curious because, like, legitimately, when I first ever played the Impossible Game, it was just that one level that you and I tried out.
Oh, okay.
But we did see that there were other levels out there. So if there was ever a reason for me to pick it back up, it would just be out of sheer curiosity. But, yeah.
That would be all on you.
Yeah, but that was, it was awkward, but it worked. But yeah, no, we got some more games that are on that list. I know of Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy is definitely one of those. The game of Sisyphus, I know, is going to be one of those.
I'm not familiar with that one off the top of my head.
Well, I mean, if you're familiar at all with the story of Sisyphus, you can pretty much understand what your character has to do. Yeah, and it's a whole thing. But yeah, we're going to... There will probably be more anger-inducing games out there, but also, if you know, I guess I'm doing my advertisement that I was trying to record 12 months ago. We're just, fuck it, we're doing it live. Send your suggestions, secondchanceinat@gmail.com. What other rage-inducing games would you like to see us put it through? By the way, if you want to see Allie lose her shit, make sure it has nothing to do that's going to set off motion sickness. Like it's not Trash the Tavern with vomit.
I mean,
it's with rage.
God, I hope not.
Like if you're puking, it's only because you're so mad, not because you're car sick. Okay.
Just to kind of springboard off something you had said about how we were kind of lucky with the last recording session being what it was. I just, I gotta agree that, it was something where, emotions did run high due to Shadow a little bit, but then we walked away from that, and it, turned into lots of, oh, sorry, we love each other, lots of hugs, and I don't, I guess there's not a good way to say it, but like, if ever there was going to be the best way to be the last time you see somebody without knowing it, walking away with a big hug, I love you, get home safe. That's probably the best possible last unexpected meeting you could have with somebody. And I count myself really grateful that we did have that big kind of love fest of just hugs and positivity at the end of that.
For sure.
And I am really glad that even just like a week or two before that, there was some occasion for Kenny and I to play some Kingdom Hearts, just the two of us, which I imagine will be more of it will be released than was initially intended. Just by nature of what happened. But I really love to think back on just hanging out. Like, it became just like an afternoon of like, hey, I can't beat this boss. I'm gonna grind a little bit. Like, let's just leave the recording on while we just kind of shoot the shit and just kind of hang out, play a game, and it just is also being recorded.
It's funny. That final recording session, if there was a way to go back and ask Kenny if there was any way in which he would want it to be improved upon, it was that I didn't let him play Kingdom Hearts during that recording session. And it's because y'all did that, and we, to be fair, we all were kind of in agreement on it. Even Kenny was.
Yeah.
Like, he just wanted to play more Kingdom Hearts. But we realized that, like with DMC, we kind of got way ahead of ourselves a little bit.
Yeah.
And we just didn't want that to happen. So it wasn't that we were against, because the plan was to keep going with Kingdom Hearts, because at that point there was no stopping Kenny. I mean,
well, yeah, I mean,
anybody who knows Kenny,
he and I first met, like, talked to each other because Kingdom Hearts. So I mean, I can't fault him for that, even if I didn't particularly care as much for that entry compared to many others. I definitely sympathize with him saying, but if I have an excuse to play Kingdom Hearts, I'm going to take it.
Right.
But yeah, it really did kind of become a case of there was so much enjoyment being had with that we ended up recording a lot more of that than other things we intended to record.
Yep. So it was a couple of days like, John, Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
It's like, buddy,
word for word.
I love you, but no, like we have to, get some other things up. But
some things like thank goodness you're here.
Oh my gosh, the little indie combo pack that we did. Thank goodness you're here, shipped, and Save Your Nuts.
Yes.
Which Save Your Nuts, something dawned on me, and it didn't dawn on me until the episode actually dropped.
Oh.
That, I believe, aside from like one brief cameo that Kenny had on one episode of The Hex, was Kenny's first experience with Mystery Manor. Which also lent to a realization that I learned, which I learned hardcore during that recording session. Because there is another game that we had in that recording session that won't be dropped until 2026. I will give a spoiler. It's a weekend getaway. It's a fun little romp. Join us next year for it. But I had no earthly idea just how competitive Kenny is when it comes to games. Like, my God. So, like, Mystery Manor, I think any other game would have lent better to teaching Kenny that with Mystery Manor, the whole point is to go in blind. the less you know about it, the better. We want to see, is the game intuitive enough to teach you how to play without you having to go? And the whole time he's like, just show me how to play. Show me how to play. And we're both like, we can't do that, Kenny. And he's like, but the whole point is because we were losing. And he's like, I just want to win.
Oh, that game, it definitely had its challenge to it. I mean, I'll agree with Kenny on that one. I mean, it doesn't help that I was very bad at it.
It also doesn't help. It was fun for the moment. It was fun for the episode, but it also didn't lend to people who were trying the game for like the first time.
No.
We put 2 of the characters, including one that was going up against us, on the super extra expert hard mode, which while everybody else was at cake easy, like all you need is the one character who's got game-breaking difficulty to ruin it. And it's, but that was it kind of shell-shocked me a little bit, but it dawns on me. It's like, oh yeah, Kenny grew up with siblings of similar age, and he's a gamer. Of fucking course, he's like out for blood anytime it's a competitive game.
Yeah. Well, especially when one of those siblings is also a gamer who may or may not be coming back to streaming. I've heard talks of maybe, so no
is
quotes.
There some Mischief Ahoy?
Yes, that would be Mischief Ahoy. Follow them on Twitch in case of a comeback, but
follow them anyway.
Yeah, I don't know for sure, eventually. But
we love you, Jack.
There's talk, that Jack will be back.
Oh, here's open. But
on the complete opposite end was Shipped, which was very intuitive.
Yes, once you realize that it's like, okay, so the whole kind of the catch to that game is, I swear somebody just took the movement sliders and like cranked them up to 9,000%. And I mean, oh my gosh, like talk about a fun time that you could have for like 30 minutes with some friends. Because literally it was like, okay, this one's like King of the Hill. This one's like a race. This one's just a battle royale. And, and like, yes, it's the ships are all going to be in crazy places. And if you win the round, there's a very good chance that it's not because of anything good that you did, but it's because you did less bad than others did.
Yeah. Oh, I by no stretch am I saying it was an easy game, just more intuitive.
Oh yeah.
It's another case where I was very bad at it, but boy howdy, was it a lot of fun. Yeah. And yeah, that one I think let Kenny's competitiveness come out in a more healthy manner.
Right.
Because he knew what to do.
Exactly. And honestly with that, it was more about just I think with that one, what made it a little better was, yes, we were still in the same situation where it's like, okay, what the hell does sumo mean, or whatever, but like you would, like, even though like a round would last all of like, I don't know, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Like it didn't matter because like that first round was all it took to teach you what you had to do in that particular kind of competition, and then it was best of 5 wins. And yeah.
So the first one was almost negligible. It was like a practice round.
Exactly. Sometimes you'll get the dub on that one. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, no, that was a good time. And then thank goodness you're here. That one was less about mystery matter. That was more of just me loving the absolute shit out of that game and wanting to share it with y'all as a weekend getaway. And
it was good. It was definitely very like, what is happening?
like legitimately, like it. The way I look at it is like the events of that game and the humor that comes with that game could very easily be found if you're like up randomly at 4 a.m, just surfing channels, and you come across a BBC sitcom.
Yeah.
Like, it's that same kind of humor. And for me, I don't know. Like, for me, British humor can sometimes get so dry to the point where like it's clearly the plot has been lost on my dumb American brain. But like when it hits, and the wit is so amazing and all about that game. Like, even just like the little things that are just written on the just written on the thing. Like, what was it, like the big sign, missing cat, also one child, like those kind of things. Like, that was hilarious to me.
Of the British comedy things that I have any familiarity with, it was definitely like a combination of like a Wallace and Gromit and the UK Office and a little bit of the Mighty Boosh.
I can see that, yeah. Especially the part where you're kind of floating in the beer with the random bottles turning around and talking.
I'm sure it could be compared. I would imagine more people would probably compare it to, what is it called? A Monty Python, but I do
Monty
not.
Python, a little Mr. Bean in there.
Okay, yeah.
Just because you're this goofy silent protag who basically solves the issue by slapstick. In a lot of ways. I mean, for us, it's just you literally punch something to activate it, and you just watch the humor go. But
yeah,
I mean, my gosh, like I legitimately played through all of it. Along with the missus. Shout out to Megan, the blind girl next door. What up, by the way? You hear her voice very quietly and very occasionally on the Resident Evil episodes that have been coming out this holiday season. So if any of you who have been watching the Resident Evil episodes, first and foremost, thank you. I hope you're enjoying Haunted Hotel Spookmas. But if you've been wondering who like randomly has been interjecting with occasional funny little quips and laughs, that's my wife. That's the missus. At this point, yeah, she marks the second of my fam to cameo.
Yes.
She will not, spoilers, for something else that we actually did record in 2025 that will come out in 2026. She will not be the last of my family to be making an appearance. That no idea when that's coming out, so I don't necessarily want to like.
Ooh, I know
that.
Eventually.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. It has been a hell of a year. And I mean, I think most people are in, some way or another familiar with the idea that, grief comes and goes. It never goes away. But like I was watching a TV show just the other night and bawled my eyes out because I just got on that line of thought. But
yeah,
and yet I can sit here and we can talk about all the good times, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
But
well,
I guess I don't know where I'm really going with that. I just can't. I'm still wrapping my head around how strange this year has been.
Yeah. and honestly, like, I think for the longest time, especially in like the first few months of 2026, no telling what lies in store for us then. But 2025 is going to feel like, probably, to me anyway, probably the biggest fever dream of a year that I can think back on since thinking back on 2020 from 2021.
Yeah.
Like, that is a legitimate thing. But I do got to thank you for kind of in unknowingly going into like the best segue ever for kind of wrapping up the Turndown service for the year. And before we kind of get into some of the exciting things that we have for 2026, I'd like to kind of put a little bow on something, and you kind of alluded to it already, but I'd like to challenge you. This is a little more unfair to you and less to me, because I've been thinking about this throughout the day. But honestly, it's something that I knew for a fact that when we were going to do the Turndown service, I was thinking about how, like, we can't do a traditional Turndown service. I knew that I wanted to say this. And it's, it's not, I don't want this to sound cliche, but I'm basically going to kind of do a what Kenny meant to me kind of thing. And I'm going to uniquely thank Kenny for something that, like, at the time meant more to me than I think that he could have ever possibly imagined. And that was, I'd like to think that I'm overall, pretty creative. I think that I've got a pretty good eye for being able to come up with some pretty cool, concepts and ideas. And I got a lot of passion to try to bring a lot of these to life. And part of that passion is sharing it with loved ones, with friends, and with family. And while I will say that, especially, with a lot of like my close friend base that I would want to do some of these things with, I would get the same sort of platitude. I'd be like, hey, I got this really cool idea. Like, we do this, and I'd lay it all out. And I'd get that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, man. Let me know how that goes. And that's great. Yeah. That, like, if you're that person that, says things to people like that, don't stop telling people that. But for me, I think the thing that I wanted to hear more than anything is for somebody to just say, hell yeah, let's talk about how we can make this happen. Mm-hmm. And way back in 2022, I had the idea, and I went through the usual chain of friends, and I got those same platitudes that I have gotten for years, for decades. And then I told Kenny. And I mean, first and foremost, his reaction was of genuine excitement, that not only like that he liked the idea, but he liked that I came to him with it. But he was like, okay, so here's the first thing you want to do, right? You want to grab this email, you want to try to grab the socials, and here is this call to action that I never knew how desperately I needed until it was given to me. And Kenny legitimately, like, Second Chance In does not exist without that conversation that I had with Kenny that one day. And then, to make matters even better, less than 72 hours after the initial concept, like, don't get me wrong, like, I've been on plenty of starting day one projects that were forgotten about on day two. But literally 72 hours later, Kenny's texting me. And he's like, hey, man, like, are you going to be available to join, like, you know, to listen in on KenBot? And I was like, yeah, I'll be able to listen. He's like, okay, cool. Because after we're done, I want to introduce you to somebody. and he lets me know that he basically spent the better part, you know, of however long that day talking to you about Second Chance In. And it's like, you got to meet my friend John. He's got this idea. And then, yeah, I mean, before you knew it, like less than a week after that conversation, I meet you. We're planning. We're talking about stuff. We're getting together. We're buying equipment. We got that picture of us grabbing the microphone. Like,
oh yeah,
all of those things, all of those cherished memories. Like you know, Second Chance In could lose all of their subscribers tomorrow and be considered the deadest of all dead channels, and it would have been so fucking worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
Every goddamn second of it. Even the parts where we wanted to kill each other. Like Shadow episode 4 and the very first our teaser, our welcome teaser, where I was like, Kenny, are you gonna release this on the 16th? He's like, yeah. So then I texted him and he's like, yeah, I'm at the airport. But like, yeah, like, but legitimately, like, Second Chance In would be yet another piece of paper in the back of my junk drawer, another note in my phone of incomplete ideas that just fell by the wayside because I couldn't find just another like-minded individual who saw enough value in my idea to run with it. And so for that, like, keeping it together, for that, like, you know, even though I have friends that I have known 4 times as long as I ever got to know Kenny, Kenny will forever and always be one of the best friends I've ever had. And it was because he saw what I needed more than even I did. So, Kenny, you son of a bitch, I love you.
Yeah. I
top that.
Well, to springboard off that, I still vividly remember the day I had just gotten home to the apartment I was living in at the time. So I'm sitting in my car in the parking lot when I get a call from Kenny. I haven't even gotten out of the car. I think, oh, okay, I'll take a call from Kenny. You know, we'll talk 20 minutes tops. It was more than that, naturally. Kenny and I were both yappers, but you know, we go through our normal pleasantries, and he says, I need to tell you about this friend of mine, John, and he wants to start this YouTube channel, and here's the concept, and would you be interested? And I thought, that sounds so cool. I would love to meet John. This sounds so cool. I definitely want to be a part of this. And like, I didn't realize that you had told him about it so recently, right before he told me about it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm, you know, you just heard John. The rest is history. I to make a short story long. Like I first met Kenny in middle school in the 7th grade. Because for those who don't know, Kenny and I were born the same month of the same year. Like, we were weeks apart in age. And so at that time, Kenny was far too cool to be friends with me. He was with the popular kids, and I very much was not. But fast forward to freshman year of high school, And we both were in the anime club. We both were playing Kingdom Hearts. We were both drawing, and you get enough overlapping things with somebody and you become friends. And kickstart a many years long friendship that as any friendship does, has its ups and downs. Kenny went through a phase after coming out where he only wanted to hang out with his new gay friends and experience that side of himself, and I totally got that. But I explicitly remember more than one occasion looking at my text messages and seeing like, "Hey Kenny, what's up? How you been?" in March. And then, "Hey Kenny, just wanted to see how you're doing" in June. And then, "Hey Kenny, hope you're doing well" in like November. And then he would respond in like January.
Right.
But boy, am I so glad that I stuck with him as that I kept with it and stuck with him as a friend, because he really is just one of the best people you could have ever been friends with.
Absolutely.
And it's funny because I didn't realize how true it was and how much it meant to me until now I've gone without. But doing streaming with Kenny, because ironically I started streaming before him, but it was like once in a blue moon and just kind of whatever. And then he started doing it like seriously. So I was like, well, I guess I should do that too. So I kind of ended up following in his shadow in that way, despite starting first. But then joining in on his streams, and I'm sure part of it was knowing each other for so long, but having such a good back and forth, and having multiple times where Kenny would say, "Oh my gosh," and this is Allie, my comedy partner, and like not really appreciating that at the time, because at the time I just would think, well, he's the funny one, I'm just tagging along. But in retrospect, going back and really appreciating like what the back and forth really was.
Y'all bounced off of each other so well. So coming from somebody who saw it from the outside looking in, and then also had the intimidating task of having to fill your shoes from time to time. When Second Chance In was definitely going to become a thing, that's when my presence on Kenbot really ramped up. And I became less, I basically went from occasional viewer to one of the most vocal, watchers, commenting like, and causing that. And then it eventually just got to the point where like we just got to talking. I was like, "Do you ever like want me to come on?" And he's like, "Yes."
Yeah.
It was like, "Oh, okay, we're doing this." And then the first time he's like, "You want to do it tonight?" And it was the worst thing in the world, because all I had was my job at the time's laptop. So that's why you've got Kenny coming in like, "Hey, what's going on? It's Kenbot TV."
And then you would get John McMahon kind of like, "Hey, Kenny, how's it going, buddy?" "Hey, yeah, you got that Pokemon, didn't you?"
And
Yeah.
But it was like,
we got you caught up.
Well, and honestly, the best part is that it really solidified that like we could do this.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, like Kenny really, he gave me the confidence to do it. And because, well, right. I mean, he was right. Damn it. This is a good idea.
Yeah.
But speaking of good ideas, let's wrap this one up.
I was going to say, to just kind of put a bow on all that, I think Kenny was able to turn things that would have just been a fun idea or just a casual hobby for us and make it into a true passion that was a real project that you could turn around and show somebody.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of that would happen without him.
Yep. And also gotta give Kenny a special shout out of just how much he was doing behind the scenes.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because we all try to, in equal parts contribute to Second Chance, and none of us are, like in charge, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But
it's like
it's
a
more
co-op.
like, but yeah, Kenny did so much.
He did.
And boy, trying to navigate the thumbnails. Like I don't have access to Photoshop or Canvas, so I had to use more free to the public options. And yeah, you're better at it than me. Thank you for taking that over. But like that first one, like coming out and thinking that it would take me all of like 15 minutes, and the whole thing took me like 2 damn hours. And I was sitting there and I'm like, how many times did I like text Kenny and be like, yo, are you going to get this done? And he's working on it. And me sitting there thinking like, how much time do you need to work on it? Yeah, now I know. Lip has been zipped. But yeah. Okay, so that being said, yeah, we do have some amazing cool things that we do have coming up. One thing that Allie and I have discussed about the future of this channel is, well, first and foremost, I think that a lot of the early recordings that we did have when we came back this year, at least for me, I can't, 100% speak for you, but we're feeling out what is a new normal.
Yeah.
It's not like you and I don't have experience in recording episodes, just the two of us. I mean, anybody who's watched Unravel 2 or The Hex knows that.
Yes.
But like it was always like a kind of a flavor of the day kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like we're doing this because Kenny got stuck at work. Also,
Right.
there's, that's why there's also episodes of just you and Kenny because, I was there. Now, if we ever had an episode of just me and Kenny, that would have been really weird because it meant that we would have broken into your house.
I always made the offer.
It's true. And the funny part is for anybody who knows Allie and her family, like Kenny and I totally would have been able to come in. We wouldn't have had to break into the house. All we would have had to do was turn the doorknob.
Yep.
Because Allie would have been like, "It's unlocked."
Yeah, someone in the family would have let you in. And,
Yep. And if we had come in unannounced and like, there comes your mom coming around the corner, she would have been like, "Oh, hey, Kenny. Hey, John." So, yeah.
Might have even offered you a snack if you smiled nice enough.
Oh, absolutely. Why do you think I smile? No. So we're still, and to be honest, I don't know how long, probably as long as we're doing this, we're probably always going to be thinking about different ways in which we can expand,
yes,
innovate, see, what works. I mean, Second Chance in that it's the main show, it's the main part of the channel, but it was never intended to be the full part or the totality of the channel. So now, like, what we're kind of looking into doing, I don't know for certain if when this comes out, if this particular episode is going to come out before or after this, but we watched the Game Awards.
Yes.
And we commented on the video game awards that had happened 11 years prior.
Yes.
And we're planning on kind of making it a regular thing. Maybe what we might do is do a couple and catch up and then do it an annual thing.
I think tentatively that's the plan, is to be able to have the 2016 come out in December 2026.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll see how it comes out. But that was a lot of fun. That one kind of reminded me of the kind of fun that we had the first when we first met, and we did a little bit of a we joke about it now, but we called it the chemistry test.
Oh, yes.
Where we watched Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City, Yumi and Kenny, and we basically gave it the Mystery Science Theater 3000 treatment.
Which, if that's something you're interested in, let us know. We have talked about the possibility of making that possibly for a Patreon.
Yes, and that's one of the things that we're possibly looking at expanding upon, is maybe looking into doing movie watch-alongs, show watch-alongs, maybe.
Maybe you should let us know in our Gmail.
Yes, that would be wonderful. secondchanceinat@gmail.com. And then we also, there are some close friends, to the, we'll just call it to the Kenbot community that
Yes.
we would love to and have talked to about coming on to the show as a bit of a guest innkeeper.
Yes.
So we've got a few games lined up that people would like to come on board and play. Whether it would be like a Second Chance In, We Can Get Away Mystery Manor, we'll figure it out. And then, one thing I did want to make mention is I was looking up. I don't know if you remember this, Allie, but that recording session, that last great recording session, one of the things that we did while we were in between games and setting up is we all kind of collectively chose a handful of games that we wanted to play.
Yes, I do recall.
And so what I'm hoping that we can do is make it a focus to try to play the games that Kenny wanted to play.
Yes, make like a Kenny collection.
Yep. Now, that being said, I would like to make it a point that we actually tried to honor that this year.
We did, and
but fucking if Star Wars Jedi Outcast hasn't been the biggest pain in the ass to try to get up and playing.
Was it Jedi Outcast?
That's the one.
Okay. Because one afternoon in between recording episodes, Kenny and I were looking at Steam, and he's like, "Oh, I would love to play this. Is it on the computer?" It was. Lo and behold, only to realize this, I don't know, several weeks before this video was recorded, that the version that you can get off of Steam is only playable through mouse and keyboard after several attempts to play it with a controller. So that, really sets expectations.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, I have never been a PC gamer, so I'm nothing when it comes to trying to do WASD controls. Like, I'm not the one. You will literally have to teach me from scratch. I played one game, literally one game on a PC, and it was my buddy's laptop, which he had pirated South Park: The Stick of Truth onto. So the one game that I played is literally the South Park: The Stick of Truth, which isn't necessarily the most, like dense when it comes to PC controls. So yeah, my skill set is non-existent. But, we'll figure it out. There's also Pokemon Coliseum on there. I can't believe Kenny put Bubble Bobble on there, but
oh gosh, I forgot about that game.
He that made me smile because Bubble Bobble. Okay, yeah. Spoilers. I'm older than you guys. But when I was a kid and, all we had was a Nintendo to play, Bubble Bobble was one of my favorite games. And, man, I played the absolute bejeebus out of Bubble Bobble, even to the point where I got good enough to be able to beat the final boss while the second player controller just sits there, and I was able to keep the second player alive while doing nothing, because you can only get the good ending in Bubble Bobble if you beat it with 2 players, and you beat it with 2 players multiple times. So you got to save the girlfriends, and then you got to save the parents. Spoiler warnings, by the way. Spoiler warnings for a 1986 game by Taito. And then, so he has Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on there, which does mean that if one of us will have to get passable at 3D Sonic.
Oh boy, that's...
Now here's the thing. I'm good at 2D Sonic. And I mean, I'm decent at 2D Sonic. I can confirm that at one time I have beaten Sonic 2 and Sonic 3. But yeah, like I don't know if I am going to be that guy.
Well, we'll figure that out.
Give us some time to practice, inmates. Give us that one. I mean, to be honest, that one's good. It's not a mystery manor. We don't have to go in there completely blind on it. And yeah,
we maybe can have a guest who knows and loves that game more than we do.
That's true. We could also, have a resident expert. By the way, if you want to come on the show, secondchanceinat@gmail.com. I mean, we'll have to get to know you first.
Yes.
We have to test you before you can come in, like actual tests, like a whole lab. Like I'll need DNA, I need hair, spit, blood, skin flakes, fingernails. I need the whole thing.
Maybe even some tears.
Except for stool. I don't need any stool. No stool. And then Medieval. Medieval is the only other one on there.
Oh, yeah, that PlayStation 1 game.
Yep, the spiritual successor to Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Is it really?
Sort of. I mean, they're not direct sequels, but they kind of have the same situation at hand where basically it is punishingly hard. You are given very little armor, so to speak. And one of the things that it also does, the Medieval does, like Super Ghouls and Ghosts, is that when you do get hit, your armor shatters.
Oh, jeez.
And so you could literally be just a little bone man walking around in his underwear.
That's really funny.
Kind of like how Sir Arthur, I think, Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I don't know. I've never actually beaten Super Ghouls and Ghosts. That game is, like, if you want us to play it on Second Chance In, it will go on Trash the Tavern eventually. Well, I mean, legitimately, I think one day with a group of buddies, we spent the whole afternoon trying to beat that fucking game. And it gets so, I mean, that game's already punishingly hard, but it gets stupid hard at the end. That literally, like, the last half of it was spent trying to beat the Red Devil. Anywho, so yeah, last but not least, the one thing that I do know that we are going to be doing at some point, but I just don't have an idea as to when. We've been kicking around this idea kind of from the beginning of Second Chance In, where I've lovingly coined it reverse 2CI or IC2.
Yes.
But the concept of Second Chance In is basically that there's this game that got a whole shit ton of hype and then came out, was lambasted by the crowd or by critics as just being overhyped crap, and then it just kind of falls to the wayside. But as we know, some of those games have had a chance to develop. Maybe some of those games developed a cult following once people figured out that, like, you know, there's like some really good mechanics under maybe some jank. And so that's how that concept came. But that being said, also, you look at those games that are considered, that are just across the board, like, you know, magazine articles, internet things, video essays. This is a masterpiece. 10 out of 10. Like, they, you know, games that are going to top the
yeah. The GOAT!
Yeah, right? Like, Watch Mojo has probably 170,000 top 10 lists on these games being the best. But the truth is that for some of these games, while, yes, they probably still are really, really, really good, there's a chance that maybe as generations have come along, maybe as, like, innovative mechanics have come along, like, perhaps maybe it doesn't have the same kind of shine that it once did.
Yeah.
Yep. The first example that I give, and spoiler warnings, I guess, because it's likely going to be the first game. I always think of Mario 64.
Yep.
Mario 64 is, you know, by all means, anybody who grew up playing that game will tell you it's a wonderful game. Everybody talks about how Mario, like, just nailed it when it came from 2D to 3D and everything like that. But the truth about it is that while, yes, Mario's been sticking the landing on 2D and 3D for decades now.
Yes.
Like, you know, Sunshine, Galaxy, Odyssey, 3D World, like, so many games have kind of, well, not really 3D World, that's more top-down, but, like, all these 3D Marios have come along and kind of perfected the formula. So
only for the next one to perfect it more.
Right, or to come up with this new innovation. I mean, like, Mario Galaxy is completely on motion controls, and it freaking works. It's a treat. I mean, well, yes, you're still using the direction, but you got to keep that thing pointed at the sensor the whole damn time.
But I think the biggest thing is going to come down to, does it hold up in a modern setting? Mm-hmm. As someone who played it fairly recently, within the last, like, 2 years, the original Tetris holds up great.
Oh, hell yeah. I love me some Tetris.
Like, the original Pokemon, like red and blue or green, depending on your region, still hold up. But, you know, we have to revisit, you know, does Mario hold up to modern standards?
Right? Like,
does, say, Legend of Zelda on the N64 hold up to modern standards of not just a Zelda game, but as a game?
Right? Like, Super Metroid, like, is it still the, you know, the end all be all for Samus, or, like, you know, is, like, Metroid Dread or Metroid Prime, like, any of those, like, the Prime series, or is that the way to go? Has that made something that was widely considered, like, the most untouchable, you know, greatness, is it now, you know, obsolete, or does it still hold up? And also, I think that, you know, one of the things that we're really going to have to, you know, iron out with our decision making on it is that, like, the definition of hold up as well.
Yeah.
Because the way I look at it is that you're probably going to find a lot of these games, and let's get it right. Let's get it cleared from the jump. I am doubting, severely doubting, that there's going to be a single game that ever comes from an IC2 play that we are going to walk away from it saying, I didn't have fun with that. Like, these games have been crowned for a reason, first and foremost. So we know that there's enjoyment to be had there. We also know that praising the game just in general, well, like, I'm sorry, but that's already been done to the heat death of the universe for a lot of these games. or franchises. So it's really going to be more along the lines of, does this game still hold up as a quality game with, good control scheme, all this, that, and the other? Or is it more of something where it's like, hey, this game was a really cool idea for this gimmick, but the truth of the matter is that, like, for using Mario 64 as an example, not saying that this is our opinion, but the example being, hey, like, Mario 64, still a great game, holds up in this way, but if you truly want to get it, you could do better. Play
Sure.
Play Mario Odyssey. Play,
A game since then that has improved upon the things this game set out to do.
Right, like this by any means is just kind of it's just kind of lost its luster. I mean, so that is something that I'm looking forward to doing. And then so we're still going to be innovating and trying out new things and seeing what sticks. I mean, when we were kind of radio silent for a while and just not knowing what to do, and I got the email from the intern, and it said, I put this together, can I put it on the channel?
Yeah.
And it was just that, it was that the Bleach video, and it was just like,
It's very out of left field, but I really like that video.
well, I think one of the reasons why I was like, yes, absolutely, this is an absolute green light, is because it did, without really me intending it to go that way, like, it did what I wanted to do with the channel, which is, like, I don't want us to ever be backed into a corner where it's like, we have to do it a certain way, otherwise, we're aimless. I mean, part of this whole creative process is kind of aimless in nature. So, like, I never wanted us to be locked into a corner. I just wanted us to, be able to expand where we feel the creative bugs. So, those are the kind of things that we're always going to be thinking about, that we're always going to be trying to expand upon. So, legitimately, we hope that you all join us into year 3. We're gonna get weird with it. We're gonna try some stuff. Like,
is that a promise or a threat?
One thing I'll say, let's just say this: it's a threat of a good time.
I like it.
We'll put it that way, because you know what? No matter what, it's going to be silly. And if you like our wacky back and forths, please join us, because we love this. We love doing this, and I think, Allie, I think that this upcoming year is really going to be kind of fun and interesting for some of the things that we're just going to give a try to.
It's going to be the year of new things for 2CI.
Yep. But all the old things will still be there too.
Oh,
so if you're a fan of the old, if you want to see more of the new, if you want Allie to play Cyberpunk again,
I mean, I would never say no to that. Me and my looks it up. Nearly 300 hours in the game.
Yeah, so you played a little past the tutorial then.
Just a little.
Just a skosh. But yeah, like, any suggestions that we have, please, secondchanceinc@gmail.com. Send us your suggestions there. We're always also going to be, checking out comments and everything on our, on the comments on the episodes themselves, our socials, which admittedly our socials are another thing of that they're a little uncertain right now.
I have plans to look into what that will look like after New Year's.
Yeah, and honestly, like, for us, like, it's clearly, like, right now it's not a priority. The priority was legitimately just to, keep going and seeing what we have with this. Now that we've kind of turned the page on our first chapter. The page was turned a little bit abruptly. I don't think we were necessarily done reading all the information on that first page, but sometimes life is going to turn the page for you. So, hey, join us while we turn the page again. This time I've got a highlighter. What does that mean? I don't know.
We'll find out. We'll find out what it means in the new year.
Yeah, 2CI year 3, getting weird with it. Put it on the board, hashtag.
It's like Frank from It's Always Sunny. I don't know how many years I got left on this earth, so I'm going to get real weird with it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we love you, inmates. Please feel free, check in, stay another night. Please check out all of our wonderful things. Second Chance In, where we give games that didn't do well the first time a second chance for that good first impression. Come join us for Mystery Manor, where we take a look at relative unknowns, independent games, maybe some things that just look interesting and weird.
Yeah.
Indie developers, hit us up if you ever want us to beta test something for you.
Hey, if we could be first to bat on a game, that would be so fun.
Weekend getaway. That's where we're just gonna play some of our just absolute faves. Just good fun time. So if there's a good one of your favorite games, let us know. If we share the sentiment, we'll definitely play. Then Trash the Tavern. Yep. Find different games to make us angry at the world. Let me follow in the footsteps of somebody I consider an idol, despite the fact that in years he's literally younger than me. Let me get my inner Aaron Hansen on. Let me become a grumpy gamer. And yeah, also, of course, love doing Haunted Hotel, love doing spooky games.
I'm a big spooky game girl.
There are so many. I've already talked about, well, I told you about a couple of games that I wanted to play, but I mean, Allie, I'm not going to lie. If you let me, Haunted Hotel will become a series mainstay because I will play the absolute, come on. Dino Crisis, Silent Hill, Resident Evil, so many of those old games that
we could just make it a series of PS1 horror classics.
We could. Let us know if that's something you want. We do have Resident Evil 2 and 3 on queue, all ready to go. OG, of course, but I'll play the remakes too. I'm down. I go either way.
And with that, I think it's time to bring this one to a close.
Absolutely. Don't take that out of context, Internet.
Do it. Out of context. Out of context.
Goodbye, inmates. We love you. We will see you in 2026.
Love you very much.